Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Pen Dulce. This wonderful Wednesday morning. We got Christian Cano, Barb Bacon, Aaron Ortiz, and baby Trump Pinata. I mean, this is going to be a great show, guys. And we are going to get, Margaret Black is now coming on. This is fantastic. And Christian, he has news from the front because he is down there in Georgia right now. And we got some exciting news for some disheartening news for others. Either which way you go, we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be a great time.
Well, thank you, Stephen. You know, that's traditionally the music that we start off with, which is the mariachi music. Mariachi is kind of more of the music of Mexico. And
one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, I like more Tejano music, and there's ranchero music. So today, because I'm still in Georgia, we're going to play another song that just seems like it's fit for this morning.
Okay.
This is Come On Be Happy. I think that's what this song is supposed to be.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm so not cool with pop music. I had no idea what song that was.
So those of us who know why that song is on, this is a really great morning to wake up in America. And we're going to go.
Which side you're on.
So let's go ahead and start our show. Welcome to Coffee and Ponduce. I'm Christian Cano, one of your co-hosts. I am still in Georgia, and I'm so glad that I have been here for now, 11 days, to see the amazing job people did here in Georgia. And I hope that every party, Democratic Party, who's in the southern state or who wants to know what do you got to do to get your people out and so forth, that they take a look at what Georgia did and take what works and take it back to them. So we're going to talk about all of that. Mamma Ruth, one of our co-hosts, may be joining us a little later. We hope that she is able to join us today. And we're going to go around the Brady Bunch screen and introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself in 30 seconds, who you are, if you have an imaginary button. We have two more people that are going to be dialing in while we're talking, so we'll get them going as well. And once again, as you're introducing yourselves, it allows me to share us on our social media platforms around wherever. So, Stephen, do you have an idea of?
Oh, I do not have the Brady Bunch screen up, but let's just start with Barb, Aaron, Margaret. I'll go, and then you can follow up.
Okay, perfect. So, Barb, you go first.
Sure. Good morning. I'm Barb Bacon. I'm a healthcare advocate here in South Charlotte. Happy to wake up and see one Democrat's already won in Georgia, and Aaron and his group must have done an excellent job. My phone's been tweeting and twittering all morning because my family's letting me know, like, I'm not up an hour before they are. So anyway, my button is Black Lives Matter, and my other one is Healthcare for All. And I guess that's it. Is Aaron next?
Yes, my turn. Thank you very much for inviting me here again, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I'm Aaron Ortiz. I'm an attorney, partner of a firm in Norcross, Georgia. And basically my bottom is immigration reform, justice for all, and climate change. We need to work a lot with that. Thank you. Who's next?
Margaret, you are next. But you are muted, so you have to unmute yourself. Margaret, you'll want to unmute yourself so that we can hear what you're saying.
Thank you. I apologize. Well, I have to tell you, I am in Georgia. I am a Georgia voter. I've been here 12 years. I came here from Virginia, and I met Christian yesterday because I was waving a sign for Warnock, Ossoff, and Blackman on the corner, probably one of the busiest corners in the whole city of Atlanta. And Christian stopped and asked if he could join me with his signs. So we worked together for maybe close to an hour. And I am so excited to be invited to be on this morning. Thank you.
We are happy to have you. Absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. Good.
Yes.
So I'll
Well,
go
thank-
next. I'm Steven DiFiore. I'm a member of the Libertarian Party of Mecklenburg County. I'm the recording secretary. And if I had a button, my button would be end qualified immunity. I think that would do a lot of good work into getting more justice into what is currently a criminal injustice system. And I am a big fan of green energy. Go nuclear, even though nuclear reactors are kind of blue because of Cherenkov radiation, but it's still good, clean, fresh, technologically advanced power. Good stuff. And now back to Christian.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Once again, I'm Christian Pinata, one of your co-hosts. As always, my buttons are Medicare for All, which just seems happier this morning for me to wear that one for many reasons. That's my Medicare for All button. Also have Moms Demand Action for gun sense legislation, wherever those buttons are. The Latino Victory Fund, which I donate to. LULAC, all of the wonderful Latino groups that did such an incredible job here in Georgia. And we'll talk about that. Maybe Mr. Ortiz can kind of update us on that. But yes, so yesterday I had finished, I call it crowd canvassing. I finished crowd canvassing at a corner in the DeKalb area in Dorville. I had taken Mr. Ortiz's advice and went to some of the larger Latino, Hispanic, Latinx areas. And on the way back, I was coming to Emory University because there was a schedule. The DeKalb County Democratic Party did a great job trying to organize these like street kind of rallies and so forth, what we talked about last week. And on the way back at that intersection, I saw Margaret and I said, I wonder if this is one of the corners. So I pulled around and I said, do you mind if I join you? And I'm sure she was like, who the heck is this crazy guy? Or she probably thought, oh, he's got a Trump flag,
No.
So I took out these signs that are behind me, and they're poles, sticks that I used in Charlotte as well. And we sat there and got a lot of honks. It's always exciting to affirm other people's beliefs, and that's really why that kind of campaigning works. Does someone actually go to the poll after that? We don't know. But even if one person goes, you're right, there's a lot of people on board. And that's why the Trump people do it so much. And that's why the Bernie Sanders people did it back in 2006. So it was really exciting. But, we're here to talk about Georgia's on my mind. And Georgia, wow, they turned it. What does Congresswoman Alma Adams say? She's our congresswoman from the 12th district in Charlotte. She said they turned the mother out. That's what that's her saying. Who wants to let's just get your first impressions, because this is what we know. We know that they've called the race for Reverend Warnock, that he has won his seat against I call her KK Kelly, but I don't know if anybody knows what that means.
That's kind of unfair to the KK people.
Yeah.
They don't have money.
There he is. Oh my God.
Yes. So I don't know if we want to talk about how that hashtag got started, but I learned that as I was here. And then John Ossoff, who is also the other race. There are several outlets that have already called the race for him, but the major networks have not. I think they want to wait till noon today till the last ballots drop.
Why do you think they're all saying razor thin? The amount of votes that he has is more than Biden got. So why is that razor thin? Are they being ultra conservative? I mean, CBS.
It's just a political term of art.
Yeah, I don't know which one, Barbara. I don't know if they're calling Reverend Warnock's razor thin. They may be.
No.
Ossoff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Well, I believe currently he's only 0.04, and that's within the recount.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That is the reason Ossoff has he declared at 8 this morning that he has won, but it hasn't been called because the Republicans could challenge it.
Mhm.
But the good news is that Trump so discouraged people from voting early that these ballots that are now getting counted that haven't been yet are probably mostly Democrats. And the amazing thing to me is that the number of percentages of people voting is the highest it's ever been in Georgia in a runoff. And it's like 90 and 95% of the Democrats in the counties around Georgia voted. That's just highly unusual in a runoff.
There's, if you are a political scientist or a data miner or all of those statistician, they're going to be looking at Georgia. And I wonder if some of those people who went to the rally, the coup rally in DC, went without voting. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they're now saying, oh, maybe I should have voted. So let's go. Let's go around the Brady Bunch screen in 30 seconds or less. Tell us what you think about this. Who wants to go?
I can't wait for the Senate confirmation hearings for Biden's Biden's cabinet positions. That's going to be great.
All right. Barbara, how do you
Let's talk
feel?
about something more positive. They just had the Secretary of State for Georgia on, and they're saying that there's at least 8,500 votes. And I thought that seemed like a low number from what they were saying at 5 o'clock this morning when I was watching the news. Aaron, do you have any idea how many votes are waiting to be counted? Do you know?
No, actually, the Secretary of State yesterday declared that probably the final results will be ready by lunch time today. But I don't have the real the amount yet. Yeah, so we need to wait because actually Warnock has a really, really good lead. But with John Ossoff, it's going to be more complicated because it's like 50.2, 49.8%. And just let me tell you, and just remember, today in Mexico, we celebrate El Día de Reyes. Is when we put the shoe and the Reyes Magos bring us the presents for the kids. And today I have a great gift from the Reyes Magos because most likely I'm gonna have 2 blue senators on the US Congress and a blue Democrat president. And this is why I'm gonna be proud to use my blue ties again.
Well, yeah, we are nonpartisan here.
Oh no, we're partisan. We're just, I guess, technically bipartisan.
I'm a host.
Yeah,
I was invited.
I was just smiling at Stephen. Ms. Blackman, tell us how you feel.
Oh, it's an answer to prayer. I'm a person of faith. And this is just absolutely, I have worked so hard for the last 2 years. And Carolyn Bordeaux got elected to Congress from the 7th Congressional District. And I worked for her starting back in 2018, just as a volunteer. And she is there now. And the Latino community was enormously important in helping get her elected. Thank you for that. And I think today's election has a lot to do. In fact, I would encourage you to listen at 2 p.m. today to a program called Political Rewind. It is on Georgia Public Broadcasting. That's 88.5 on the dial FM. And they will be analyzing again. At 9 this morning, they had one of the LatinX leaders here in Georgia on the program. And she was explaining why so many had gone to vote and how proud they were that their people are winning.
Being here 11 days, and I used to live here back in 2004 then I went to Washington, D.C. to open up a hotel. And then I came back for another 2 more years. And then I moved to Texas and then ended up obviously back in Charlotte. And so I can tell you this state and city has changed. It is just, I was sharing with Stephen and Barbara right before we started the show that I'm actually in DeKalb County. Emory University is 2 blocks away. DeKalb County really did it. And DeKalb County is, if you're not aware of Fulton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, all of the counties, the big counties, that Cobb County, all of these. DeKalb County is a predominantly, and maybe Mr. Ortiz and Ms. Blackman, you can correct me. It's a predominantly white, educated county. It's diverse because it also has Doraville and it has some other cities in Decatur is here as well, where the Indigo Girls live, by the way, if you're into music. And so this is a very, it's not like the talking points that you may hear on other nation, that it was the black votes from Fulton County that got them elected. It was a lot of white voters that voted, and of course the rural areas, there's a lot of, I hate to use this, but they call a section of Georgia the Black Belt. And it is it goes across the state, I believe, and that's where a large population of African Americans and brown and black neighbors live or have grown up because of farming or whatever the case may be. And so there's a lot, Georgia it's not what people think, when you come here and you see just the incredible diversity, and everyone was working together. And that was so wonderful about this. Everyone had their own plans. The Latino LatinX group were going after Spanish-speaking Latinos, first generation, second generation. African Americans were doing their canvassing. A lot of progressives, white voters. Margaret was on her corner. And after Margaret left, because she went to do something else, I stayed there for a little bit longer. I did get one guy out of all that time roll his window down and say, Trump 2020. And I just, when we say North Carolina, bless your heart, it's just, what are you going to do to a guy, who does that,
It's like, oh, sweetheart, I feel your pain, but not really.
Well, you don't want to get engaged back with someone, who's who's willing to tell a complete stranger or something like that. And after I left and I was put my stuff in the car, two other ladies on the other side came out with their signs and a little kid, and they were holding signs too. So there was a lot of people out there doing everything they could to just do excitement and so forth. I just want to let you know that I have CNN on the other room, and apparently President Trump is about to speak to his supporters in Washington, D.C. They're calling it the coup rally. Yeah. I'm not sure what he's going to say, but I'm sure it's something crazy. Regardless of what he says, Congress is still expected to accept the Electoral College, I believe, by 3 o'clock today. Mr. Ortiz, you have something to say.
Yes, and the problem is that yesterday, probably we were focusing on the election here in Georgia, but I was browsing the news and I found out that yesterday at night, the protesters in favor of Mr. Trump were very violent against the police force in DC. Yes. So this is really, really, really heavy time for the Democrats and for the U.S. citizens, for everybody, because the big problem that I see is Mr. Trump is not calling for calm, for cool down, for unity. He's calling just for chaos, for craziness, and unfortunately, right now today is going to be very, very tough in DC. But hopefully the peace and the good people will prevail above all this hysteria. Hopefully. Yeah.
Does anyone think that all of this ruckus that's happening in DC now, do you think that those people who use the dog whistle term thugs towards Black and brown people always, whenever there's a march, are they going to be using that same term to these people? Or are they going to call them patriots? Or,
Yep.
I just want to channel you're watching.
Yeah. Okay. So
I watched Fox this morning and they were surprisingly calm. They never do what I think they're going to do. Yeah. They weren't as radical as I thought they were going to be this morning. I actually think they're stunned.
So do I, and I think you're going to see Republicans after this craziness that happens now say, well, what had happened was, we really were just helping him use all avenues. Before we do it, because Stephen forgot to remind me, and so did Barbara, and Mama Ruth is going to be dialing in soon here. We want to salute to Coffee and Pondusi, since I'm still in Iowa. So salute to your neighbor. This is how we started the show, so we could all sit around a table drinking coffee and eating Pondusi. Talking about real world issues. And because I'm still not in home in Charlotte, I was not able to pick up the Pondusi from our Pondusi sponsor, Manolo's Baker on Central Avenue. Please support your Black and brown small businesses and all small businesses during this time. So as a result of that, since I don't have his Pondusi, I have what the second best thing is in a breakfast burrito. And so anyone who has to stay up to 2 a.m. trying to watch the elections knows why a breakfast burrito is so valuable. And it seems like I fell asleep right before they, Ossoff went over. I think he went over like at 2:25 this morning. But listen, let's get back to Georgia.
Wait, I see your breakfast burrito and I raise you a peanut butter cookie.
Hey, I have some peanut brittle over here too, and some.
Oh, little Mr. Fancy Pants over there.
I want to talk to the two Georgians here, Mr. Ortiz and Mr. Blackman. What do you think y'all did differently, or what do you think was different this time around than other times? I mean, I know when you win, it's always, oh, we did everything great, and then when you lose, it's like, what we woulda, coulda, shoulda, But what do you think was done differently, or do you think anything was done differently and it was just time, or which one of you would like to start?
Ladies first.
Oh, thank you kindly. Well, I would have to say, Christian, and first of all, I have to compliment you in front of all your friends here. You're wearing a cowboy hat yesterday was a very smart move. I think that's one of the reasons we got lots of toots and thumbs up. I really feel that what has happened is with Stacey Abrams, who ran for governor against the current Governor Kemp, who, well, anyway, you have to wonder if he really won the election because there were so many votes that had been thrown out. But Stacey Abrams, I think, deserves a lot of credit for Joe Biden's win and also for the wins here. I have a huge admiration. Part of what she did was to inspire a great many of us women after Trump got elected, and we were just horrified with the behavior of this man. We thought, no, we can't have this kind of American government. So we got organized, and we just did all kinds of things to help get more people elected. And that's the ground game on the part of the Democratic Party was extremely well carried out, but it's been a long road for several years. Again, especially with those of us who started trying to get Stacey Abrams elected governor of Georgia.
And Mr. Ortiz.
Yeah, I'm agree with Ms. Blackman. And let me add that the work that Stacey Abrams did is not just the beginning. She has been working for this probably the last 20 years. Just remember that she was the minority leader for years in the Georgia Congress, and she has been working with the Black and brown community for years. But I was thinking that we need to if there is someone that we need to say thank you very much, in my opinion, there are two bodies or two person or two situation or personalities, you call whatever you want. But one is the US Congressman John Lewis, because he inspired a lot around here about human rights and all those kind of things. Obviously, the other person is Stacey Abrams, because she found out that the power of the brown and Black community, and she has been working with them since then. And don't forget DeKalb County. DeKalb County yesterday made a difference because, like you was asking before, Christian, DeKalb County, even that it is a white county, yes, but the majority of the people, they are liberals, and they are very diverse with the brown, black, and Asian community there. So probably the three main factors to win the election right now is John Lewis, Miss Abrams, and DeKalb County. Because even it's funny, and I don't know if someone has an idea about that, but even Gwinnett County here in Norcross, we belong to Gwinnett County, which is one of the most diverse county in the United States. It was not too much difference from the past, but right now, according with the numbers that I was browsing, DeKalb made a difference. The other issue that we need to start to work, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We need to start to work to try to make contact with the rural areas. For some reasons, Republicans have done a much better job with the rural areas than us. And just remember that this state, which is a rural state, in Vidalia, for instance, there are a lot of Latino population in the corps, and we need to reach out that communities again and again and again.
Very, very good insight. Thank you. And one of the reasons that I'm so excited to be in Georgia is because I think we can, and I said this in the last show, we can learn, us in North Carolina can learn a lot about what's happening in Georgia, what happened in Virginia, what's happening in some other states that are diversifying and changing, which, you know, I am a little bit upset, and I'm going to have to, you know, create a little ruckus because I usually do. I'm a little upset that the North Carolina Democratic Party chairperson or any of the people in the North Carolina Democratic Party leadership were not here in Georgia watching what was going on. If they were the leads of any other company, that would be a requirement to go and watch to see what their comp set is doing and then take some of the ideas. So as we go into 2021 elections for new county chairs, new precinct chairs, new state chairs, those of us who are Democrats and are voting Democrats need to hold them accountable and say, we lost, we got killed in North Carolina in this last election. Why were you not in Georgia, A, helping, or B, just seeing what was going on, and or via Zoom or whatever. So I do think that, you know, that's a little bit disappointing to me. And also,
so what I just heard is that Christian wants a leadership position in the DNC in North Carolina.
Yeah, wait.
Sounds like it to me too, Stephen.
Yeah.
Who else was personally there, Christian?
Yeah. I mean, I can't
before.
vote for you in that because I'm not a Democrat, but you know, hey, Godspeed to you.
Well, I think, you know, I think after the 2018 election and all of that stuff that's going on, my job is outside the party now. But I'm always a Democrat. You can't take that away from me.
Go back in there, man. Change it from the inside.
No, listen, I'm still going to participate in our precincts. I'm still going to donate. I'm going to help candidates that are progressive, do everything we can. But, you know, we need some tough leadership changes at the county level and at the state level. And we need more diversity.
You got to be you got to be the AOC of North Carolina.
Oh no, well, yeah, well, I'm a libertarian, not a socialist, so it's a democratic libertarian. So
yeah, that's fine. No one's perfect.
I do want to comment on Miss Blackman's cowboy hat statement. I'm glad you said that.
I was gonna if you had.
Those who know me, and hello, Miss Blackman, I ran for Congress in 2016, and I wore my cowboy hat. I started wearing my cowboy hat back in the early 2000s in honor of my grandfather, my World War II grandfather, who passed away at 92 years old of dementia and Alzheimer's. And the men in my family decided to wear cowboy hats in his honor. And whenever I was at a civic event or anywhere outside the house, not in a church, I wore my cowboy hat. And so when I ran for Congress in 2016, I naturally just wore my cowboy hat. That's what I did. And at that time, the state party chairperson, who we will not name, ran robocalls against me to get someone to primary me because she was afraid I looked too Mexican with the cowboy hat. And she would not stop hounding me everywhere she saw me. Now, tell me again why you wear the cowboy hat. I eventually had to say, listen,
This is a
you had other
family.
issues to worry about. And so to make a long story short, there is on YouTube a video of why I wear my cowboy hat. It's in honor of my grandfather. Obviously, I take it off when I'm in someone's personal home or I'm in a worship, whatever. But I'm going to put it on today just to salute Georgia, although I'm in my friend's house, so I probably should ask permission to wear. And this is one of them. This is the one I wore yesterday. It's not a Stetson. And I also, at one of my areas, I wore my Proud Democrat Trust Women shirt. So.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, Christian's audio cut
we
out.
lost your.
Well, we have Mamma Ruth now, so this is a
Good
great
morning,
segue.
everyone.
Welcome,
I'm
Mamma
sorry.
Ruth.
Well,
I'm sorry
Hello.
I'm late. I couldn't log in on my mobile phone, so I had to wait until I got home. As y'all know, I go and work out and I get off at 10, and by the time I got home, sorry.
that's okay.
But I'm glad to be here. Hey, Mr. Aaron. Good morning, Margaret.
Hello, Mama Ruth. Peace.
Good morning. Hi, Bar. Happy New
Hi,
Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year.
Yes,
So
Happy
you
New Year.
Zoom on this morning? Yeah, can we hear you now?
Yeah, I completely
Okay.
forgot to say Happy New Year. I apologize. Mama Ruth, tell us who you are on your imaginary button.
Woo! I am Mama Ruth. Everybody calls me here in Coffee and Pan Dulce Mama Ruth. My name is Ruth Perez. I'm a community advocate for the city. I love helping, being the bridge builder. I love connecting and educating myself and my community every single day. I support and I also sit in different boards, especially in healthcare. I'm part of the board of directors for Charlotte Community Health Clinic. I'm also part of the mediation here in Charlotte in Mecklenburg County for assisting our low-income residents when they're getting evicted or family matters. So I'm a mediator for the courthouse. And I'm a co-host for Coffee and Pan Dulce going on 3 years. Woohoo! And my imaginary button, I wear a lot of them. I kind of adopt a lot of them because we have to be humans and feel the sense of others. Black Lives Matters. We have to have the moms demand on action for the gun sense reforms. That's my main one. I also support NOW, which is a women's association where we have to respect every woman's rights of what we want as a woman. Even though I'm the only daughter between 7 brothers and 5 boys, I still go for go woman. So we have the right voice and we have the yes, final. And that's about it. I mean, Medicare for all. Can't wait to see our new city council people getting reelected. I'm anxious for that. So I'm gonna start working and I'm praying for all this COVID challenges go away. Because that's a challenge that it makes us stronger, makes us more human beings and make us love more thy neighbor. But also we have to take care of us and protect each other. That's it. You're muted, Chris.
It's probably a good thing.
And I just wanted to say and shout out, I know I told you yesterday, but I'm very, very proud of you. I don't know how can I express that, but you make me feel that we were well represented as Charlotte, as North Carolina and Georgia with all your work, all your effort, everything that you've done, all your sacrifices. I know it's gonna pay off.
Yep.
Well, I'm just fortunate that I was able to get away and do what other people who would like to get away and do the. And so I don't take my the role that I have been put here on earth lightly. And so I'm going to do whatever I can, and which is one of the reasons I'll never be elected to a higher office in the Democratic Party, because I will speak out against Democrats. So and North Carolina, you got to fall in love.
Yeah.
That's what I like about you, for you to be neutral and understand, even though you belong to a party that you are very faithful to, but you are very transparent and honest to tell them off. And that's the right thing that we all should do. Even Republicans should understand that, yes, there might be good Republicans, but it's time for us to call it off and say the truth, not just as showing support.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mamma Ruth. I feel, I don't, thank you. So let's get back to Georgia. This is not the Christian Cano show. Mr. Ortiz.
I have a question for the folks in Georgia, actually, because I'm kind of curious. So we haven't seen Georgia go blue in a Senate race in a very long time.
60.
And from you folks on the ground, what you're seeing, is this indicative of just Trump being very unpopular and a repudiation of Trump and the Trump style Republicans, or is it more something you see because of demographic shift? I know in North Carolina and the big cities, we got a lot of people moving from New York and California and other places in the country coming here, and these areas tend to be more blue, so these folks are accustomed to voting blue, and so that's one of the reasons why you see in cities in North Carolina they typically are Democrat versus Republican, when historically it's been more of a mix. Is something similar happening in Georgia, or is it maybe a combination of the two?
Ladies first.
Is Margaret still there?
She's on mute. She's on mute.
She's muted.
No, she's mute.
She's mute.
Aaron, you go first.
Okay. Well, probably is both. Like the change of demographics here in Georgia. Just remember that we start to come to Atlanta before the Olympic Games in the 96 or yeah. And we are first generation here. We grew up very fast in Georgia, and the diversity in this state probably grew up in the last 20 years. So this is one part. The other is precisely not just Trump. I think that Trump is not the cause. He is the result. We have been dealing with this situation with the right wing, with the Republicans since probably after Reagan's time. And I remember that in 2006, we started the LatinX community to organize through some great leader that he is not with us anymore, Mr. Teodoro Maus, who was the general consul in Mexico in the 90s. Then when he left the position, he retired and he started to work to organize the Latino community here in Georgia. He passed he passed 2 years. This is the good thing during the live programs. But anyway, the issue here is both. One is the demographic composition of Georgia and of the development. And the second is that the situation with the Republicans, and they forgot to work with the Latino community, with the immigrants, all the 287G, all the anti-immigrant laws that here in Georgia they pass against Latinos or undocumented aliens may affect, and this is the result that we are doing. This is not just like a new wave situation. It has been a groundbreaking work since probably the 90s. So let me say that. Okay.
Excellent. Ms. Margaret, do you want to add anything in 30 seconds? And you're on mute, by the way. Okay, well, I do want to touch on what you said, Mr. Ortiz, because we have that same challenge in North Carolina. We have said on this show over the last 2 years, at least I know 2 years, especially over the last year, that one of the biggest mistakes that our North Carolina Democratic Party has made is when the 287G issue and when the ICE raids were going on, the Democratic Party in North Carolina remained basically silent. They did not come to the defense of our immigrants, and especially the mayor of Charlotte. She was nowhere to be found saying this is wrong, this is unacceptable. So what I said at that time was our Latinx community, because it's younger than it is here in Georgia, they were at a point that if we lose them as Democrats, it will take a generation to get them back, like they did in Texas. Texas Democrats lost the Hispanic Tejano vote, and the Republicans have won them for the last generation, and they're just now coming back into the Democratic Party. And so I appreciate what y'all have done here in Georgia, because you're right. If we in other states pay attention to our immigrant communities, if we lose them, it will take a generation to get them back. And considering that almost 70% of our new voters that are students coming up are Black and brown, that is the future of North Carolina. So thank you for mentioning that. And that's why I hope we can learn from the great work that y'all are doing here in Georgia and many of the other states. But Ms. Blackman, to Steve's question, Steve, you want to ask her the question again?
Oh, yeah. So basically, in North Carolina, we're seeing that the cities and whatnot are going more blue than has been the historical precedent, because a lot of folks are moving from up north or out west, California, New York, example, and these folks are, typically used to voting for Democrats because those are Democrat areas. Are you seeing that? Are people moving from other parts of the country into Georgia? And this might be why the Senate race has gone blue for the first time in a very long time? Or is it more of a repudiation of Trump and the Trump side Republicans? Or is it maybe a combination of the two?
Yes, thank you. And I apologize. I had someone ringing my doorbell a few minutes ago. I would say it is a combination of the two. And like Mr. Ortiz said, there is a real upswing in diversity. Gwinnett County, which he mentioned, is actually a majority minority county now, with Latinos, African Americans, Asian. It's a wonderfully diverse county, and one of the fastest growing in Georgia. Another element, I think, two elements I would mention. One, Atlanta is often seen as the New York of the South. So just like you're saying, people come here from other parts of the United States, particularly other parts of the Southeast. It's kind of the most attractive place to get a new job in technology or perhaps in finance. It's not an industry town. It's not like a Pittsburgh or places that have major industries. So yes, those would be people coming from other parts of the United States who have tended to vote Democratic. The other thing that you may not be aware of, Clarkston, that's Clarkston, is the largest federal refugee settlement area in the whole Southeast. And so many people have come from Africa, from Latin America, all over the country, and they've been really welcomed there. I'm a part of a church group where we have worked with families even from Syria, for example, where people have come to DeKalb County, which is where Clarkston's located in the eastern side of the county, and so it has been the beginning home in America for many immigrants from around the world.
No, very interesting. That's really good
Mhm.
context for those of us
Mhm.
who aren't in Georgia and maybe
Mhm.
want to see like similarities between your state and their own
Mhm.
states.
Mhm.
I know democratic shifts, sorry, demographic
Mhm.
shifts in America over time is a little hobby of mine. I like to look at it and
Mhm.
read it and, you
Mhm.
know, read
Mhm.
stories about like say the Great Migration and stuff
Mhm.
like that. I find it all very fascinating how Americans kind of reshuffle themselves around the country over time.
Yes.
And Miss, go ahead, Miss Blackman.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm looking for an article. I may not be able to find it right away, but I could get it to Christian since I have his email. It's an article about why Georgia is turning blue, and
Mm,
it's literally a map of the whole state of Georgia. It was in the New York Times within the last six to 8 weeks. I'm not putting my hands on it right away, but it basically it points out, for example, that there are parts of the coast where Savannah is located that have become more demographically diverse. Gwinnett is kind of the primo example. Fulton County has always been, in fact, I was a young teacher here years ago when Maynard Jackson became the mayor of
mm,
Atlanta. And I invited him when he was running to come to talk to my government students. And, you think about that, that was back in the 60s.
mm,
Andrew Young, for example, was the mayor of Atlanta and then became the ambassador to the United Nations. This city has had a long history of highly qualified African Americans. So that was sort of the beginning of the change for the city.
Well, thank you so much. And we only have about 10 minutes left. We did start a little late. So I just want to touch on two more things before we end the show today. And once again, I want to thank everyone for taking the time out to help us celebrate the new year. And what a better way to celebrate the new year than this election. And hopefully by noon today, and we will see some more. 2021 is already better. What do you think, Barbara?
Yes.
What Mr. Ortiz said is such an important. I think that is the next biggest challenge that we face as a Democratic Party, but probably all parties face this. The Republican Party, they face the challenge of how to hold on to the rural voters. We face the challenge of how to get them back because they are working class individuals that a lot of our policies directly appeal to. We just have to do a better job of talking to them about it. All over North Carolina, we have to understand that healthcare is important to them. Education is important to them. Infrastructure is important to them.
Mhm.
Trade is important. Those are democratic, values. We just don't do a good job of talking to them. So it almost seems like we need some type of international exchange program. We need to send city people out to the country and country people into the city to educate each other on each other. I'm very
Mhm.
fortunate where I live in the city of Charlotte, but we go out almost every other weekend to the country house, which is country. There's no internet. Got to touch a cow to get a phone signal. And so when you have to have those, because if you don't understand why someone would say Trump 2020. They say Trump 2020 because there's just what they think of people who live in the city. And so what are our solutions? What do we do to reach out to them? I've said before, as a Democrat in North Carolina, the first thing we have to do is apologize. I'm sorry we have forgotten you. I'm sorry we've done a terrible job. Forgive me. Everyone says in a relationship, the first thing you have to do is just admit, apologize, or what's the first steps you do? We got it. There's no problem with saying, I'm sorry, we screwed up. We did not pay attention to you like we're supposed to pay attention to you. And then the second thing I want to say real quickly, and I want to hear what you guys have to say in 30 seconds about those, or if you have any ideas. I always want to give a shout out to the Libertarian Party. I know we give Stephen a lot of grief and before Jeff Scott, our other co-host at the time, a lot of grief. But the Libertarian Party has been the only party that has stood up for immigrants, DACA people, against 287G, defunding ICE, not defunding ICE, abolishing ICE for
Which
different
is a
reasons.
kind of defunding.
Yes, that's right. The Cato Institute, even though they put out some crazy stuff, they are constantly
Crazy, awesome.
doing things about the value of immigrants, the value of our undocumented neighbors, what they contribute to the society. And so I do say, I know sometimes we don't always agree with the Libertarian Party, and they may not even agree with themselves sometimes, but they have been one of the only parties that have been at the defense speaking. So I do hope that our Democratic Party, that we're not too proud to take something from the Democratic Party and say, hey, listen, Justin Amash, who's the congressman, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he's out of Congress now with the new Congress coming in because he didn't run for re-election. Because one of the difficulties is the duopoly, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They do work together in most states to really lock up access to the ballot. And in some states, it's almost impossible to even run or be on the ballot, even at the local level, if you're not part of the Democrat or Republican cartel in our political system. It's just how the rules are set up. So it's very difficult. But that being said, you know, ours is a party that's been for these things since the 70s. And you know what? If you think these ideas are great and you're in power and you want to use them, go for it. You know, you want to take our drug legalization platform, do it. You want to take our, you know, get rid of qualified immunity platform, go for it. You want to defund or reform ICE, go for it. We're not gonna argue for you. You can't threaten us with a good time that way.
No, we just have a hard time with those tin hats y'all wear sometimes. That's just the.
It's just a fashion statement. It's fun. You know, we're normal people that like to have a good time. We're not the stuffed shirt types.
Steven, you know where I'm joking. So
I look really good in a tinfoil hat. I'll tell you what.
you look good in silver or aluminum. So, you know, we don't have that much time, but does anyone want to comment on what things we can do just in 30 seconds, because we're running out of time, or what we maybe need to do to reach out to the rural voters?
I don't know if it's rural voters as much. I have one thing to say in general. I sure hope Stacey Abrams gets the recognition that she deserves for what she started, and every leader of a Democratic Party should get her notes and follow them, because she's got the ticket. And I hope Joe Biden is forever grateful. However the rest of the election turns out, she's the man. You know, she did building blocks. And I was really interested to hear how Margaret explained the evolution of this. So I guess that's all I have to say. I'm really, being an independent voter, this has been very eye-opening for me. But
So I guess now is when we read some of the comments. You know, our audience is super important. So let's get that out real quick. I'll be really quick because we don't have a whole bunch. We have Irma Sierra Botas. She says, buenos dias. And then another word I am having trouble pronouncing.
Mamma Ruth may want to do this.
Yeah. Then we have Ekaterina Roshenka. Good morning from Taylor Lee and Associates. Well, Dobroya Utra to you. We have Magda Solis Granados. Vamos Bom Bom, Aaron Ortiz-Santos. So that's pretty awesome. That's funny.
That's his life.
Yeah, she's great. She's wonderful. And then, another one from Ekaterina is #1 supporters are watching Senor Aaron Ortiz-Santos. And that brings me to a question to Aaron. Aaron, are you familiar with the great wrestler El Santos?
Yes, El Santo.
El Santo, there you go, El Santo.
El Santo.
El Santo enmascarado. Say enmascarado.
Enmascarado de plata.
Yes.
And it's 2 generations. El Santo back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and El Hijo del Santo, the Santo's son, who is the probably from the 80s, 90s until today. Yes, why?
So my better half introduced me to the El Santo movies
Okay, yeah, they are awesome.
They are
the worst movies ever. but
they're
they
the
are
worst,
awesome.
best movies ever. They're the best,
Yes,
worst movies
yes,
ever.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah. It was El Santo versus Dracula. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
great. So
Actually, if you go to Mexico City and you fly from Mexico City to North Carolina, in the international side, there is a El Santo store, and you can buy shirts, the mask,
That's
and
like
a lot of
here in-
paraphernalia.
That's like WWE here in the United States.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
but
big
it's
deal.
cooler.
Well,
Oh,
speaking
yeah.
of that, speaking of that, because we are running out of time. I know we started a little late. I just want to say that is that the same that's painted on Manolo's Bakeries?
No,
Oh, that's different. Okay.
no,
All right.
a Chapulín Colorado, that's our main hero in Mexico.
So in honor,
That's like our Spider-Man in the United States.
It's
so,
hilarious.
We need
Stephen-
another program to talk about the
Yes.
Mexican superheroes.
We need to, we definitely need to, yes.
Yeah.
It'd be a
so
lot of
apparently-
fun.
Apparently, since
Yeah.
Mr. Ortiz and Ms. Blackman have a lot of followers, we're going to have them on a lot more because they're like,
Well,
We need Alan to be in our next show for the culture, like the difference between our childhood heroes and versus our 2021 heroes.
well, listen, I'm standing up to show you what I wore this morning. This is a shirt from Manolo's Bakery, one of his hoodies. Manolo's Bakery, immigrant owned by immigrant hands. And I wanted to wear that just in honor of the election because of so many wonderful immigrants that played a part, but not only immigrants, but Black women came out to vote like crazy, Black men, Asian, Southern Asian Islanders, everyone, white.
And that is part of our immigrant community.
The beautiful tapestry of America.
yes.
It was so wonderful. And just to copycat before we close on what Mama Ruth said, in North Carolina, especially in the Charlotte region, 2021 is an election year for local elections. That means city council. If you have someone who is running for office who wants to represent your family, and they're not saying what we would normally say in the business world. In other words, if your city council person is not saying, what are they doing in Atlanta? What are they doing in Dallas? What are they doing to make us a better city? If they're not saying those questions, then don't vote for them. Because Charlotte has this belief that it's our way or the highway, that no one else is smarter than we are. Atlanta, they don't know what they're doing. And yet we are the city of chaos in Charlotte. So please encourage your city council members or your local members to just do what we all do.
You're welcome, Danny. Thank you.
I tried to put your seat back just like you
Oh,
had.
don't worry about it. Don't.
Okay. And so with that said, we're going to go around the Brady Bunch screen. I want to congratulate the state of North Carolina, the voters. What you did and what you're doing, it impacts all of us, all of our families. It impacts my family in Charlotte. It impacts Barbara. Steven said he didn't have a dog in the fight, but that's Steven's way of saying, darn, I wish I was a Democrat. But I just.
Oh, no. Don't misrepresent me there.
That's right. Well, and quite honestly, I think it's safe to say that there are a lot of real Republicans that are probably just as excited. They're ready to clean house because they have become the party of crazy, and hopefully they can get rid of the crazy and be the party of.
Oh no, we need more crazy. It's so fun.
No.
Well, speaking of,
That's why I decided to stand in the middle. I'm not neither, but I do take the good from both, or
Yes.
three of them.
We get to choose.
Yes, you do, Mama Ruth. Okay, on the Brady Bunch screen, we're going to say goodbye. Tell us where you're going to be until next week. Once again, is I think I forgot what the show topic is. COVID-19 is. Oh, I
I
forget.
think so.
Yeah, I forget. Maybe we'll have Dr. B again talking about vaccinations. If you are over 65 or 75, you should be getting your vaccination. And
Over 75 right today. They started today.
Yeah, they start today.
Excellent. And I am actually going to get tested again as I leave Georgia to make sure. I got tested when I got here, and then I'll get tested when I leave here. They have rapid testing right around the corner by Emory. Okay, on the Brady Bunch screen, baby Trump Pinata has been quiet this whole show. He's sitting in Charlotte in my living room. and he's a little sad because he knows he's going to be broken on Inauguration Day. And so, you know, we don't believe in violence, but the candy inside of him is.
He's a pinata.
Yes, and I have the bottles of champagne. We're ready. So we have Baby Trump Pinata, but we skip him. Steven, Barbara, Mr. Ortiz, Mamma Ruth, and Miss Blackman, please tell us where you're going to be in 30 seconds, and then we will close the show.
I'm going to be in the Charlotte area. Just because the elections for the most part are over doesn't mean the fight is over. There's a lot of things we got to keep holding our politicians' feet to the fire on. We need to end the wars overseas. We need to get the people of the United States the help they need. And we have to make sure that some of the, you know, more establishment neoliberal crap that will obviously come out of Congress doesn't go without some kind of repercussion or pushback, or at least, you know, someone crying out saying, you know, you care about Wall Street, but you don't care about Main Street. And we know that's going to happen because it always happens. So let's not give these folks a pass just because maybe your team won, or, you know, don't be resigned just because maybe your team lost, because as Christian likes to say, we're Team America. And so we can stand together and we can force our government to do right by us. That's all I got.
I'm going to be notifying my neighbors that I know very well and some of them that I don't about the status of how you get your vaccination. I sent out a lot of text messages yesterday and I only have a response from 2. So that's going to be my job. I'm going to keep updating everybody is that I know. And I even got some friends in South Carolina, which their whole notification system is pretty bad. So that's what
I'm going to be working on something called Fair Districts Georgia, because even though we turned very blue, the Georgia House and the Georgia Senate are both very strongly in the hands of Republicans still. And we are going to have to work hard to draw the districts in a more fair way so that more Democrats can be elected to the Georgia legislature. Thank you.
Mama Ruth?
I'll be here in North Carolina, in the Union County. We have, like, I support Steven. We have a lot more work to do. We can just give up and say, okay, we are good. Let's sit down. Let's wait for 4 more years. No, every single year, and our work is 24/7. We have to educate our community. We have to let them know, help them, to those immigrants that are not citizens yet, help in making sure that they become citizens so they can be worth it here if they made the decision to move to this country, to be part of our voices as well. I'm not planning to go anywhere at all. Remember, guys, today is the Three Kings Day. In Mexico, it's a big celebration. If you heard of Manolo's Bakery, he has the best roscas. That's what they're called, roscas de Reyes, where they're a little baby inside, little baby Jesus, that if you end up having it, you better invite me to your tamales. So don't eat too much, and let's keep on rolling our tradition, even though we're here. Love y'all, and thank you for making this happen and bringing all this information to our community.
Mama Ruth, thank you. I forgot to mention that you can order your King's Cake at Manolo's Bakery. I'm still here, but I'm picking mine up on Friday, so I'm a little late. The King's Cake is very similar to your Mardi Gras cake, if those who are not familiar with that kind of tradition. Listen, what I want to say is welcome. I'm actually going to be home. I'm very excited. We have a new family member who will be joining our family, a 4-legged family member. Her name is Lexi out of Lexington, because she is from Lexington, South Carolina. So we decided to name her Lexi. We'll be picking her up this weekend. But listen, what I want to say, and you know, I get emotional sometimes, but I think this is truly a special occasion. So many Americans have been through so much over the last 4 years. They have been marginalized. They have been called rapists, family members, rapists, drug dealers. Women have been, it's just so many people have been marginalized by our current administration. This election from last night, Mr. Biden, the Electoral College approving it later on today, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris taking office on January 20th. This is for all those people who have been marginalized and who always felt like they were not worthy. And so, you know, I'm so happy 2021 is here, but as everyone has said here, we can't stop. It could happen again. There could be another Trump elected in 2024. Hopefully not this crazy Trump, but you know, you never know. So if you're on the call, please stay on so we can thank you. We can make the promo. So stay on Zoom. We're going to end Facebook, but we're going to end with a song from a group that is very well known here. They're based out of Atlanta. There's a lot of groups based out of Georgia, but this one in particular, you may know them. They're called the Black Eyed Peas, and they are based in Atlanta. And so we're going to end the show with their song.
Thank you, Cindy, for watching us all the way to Texas.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for joining us. All right.